Maybe you haven't heard, but I want to be the first to tell you, if you have not, that we host financial retreats at Worth Winning. And this year we are headed to Bali, Indonesia in August. So you've got time to save up to go on a wonderful trip, but also while you retreat away from the world, learn stuff about your money that will have you returning home a lot more financially organized. If you want to learn more, check it out at worth-winning.com. Welcome to the Worth Listening podcast, where we focus on having positive and productive conversations around money. I'm your host, Lauren, a 4-time Olympian and certified financial planner. On this show, my guests share their money stories. Everyone has a unique story and experiences both wins and losses when it comes to money. My intent is to give listeners something they can relate to, something that builds their courage to be open and take control of their own money story. When I'm not creating a great show for my listeners, I'm running my company, Worth Winning, where I help individuals and families organize their finances. Check us out at worth-winning.com. All right, now on with the show. It's May. We are 5 months into the year, and I hope that 2023 is off to a good start for you, that you're continuing to pursue health, community, impact, all the things. Memorial Day is approaching, and I am leaving the country for a trip. And as an entrepreneur, I have a lot of flexibility in my calendar. So, sometimes days of the week feel pretty arbitrary to me. I'm recording this on a Sunday, but it doesn't really feel like I'm working on a weekend because my calendar is closed for the next 7 days. So I kind of have some flexibility. I'm not going to be taking meetings for the next 7 days, but I will definitely be working over those 7 days. Anybody who knows the entrepreneur life knows that vacation or trips, that's why I refer to it as a trip versus a vacation, are kind of relative. And while my days are arbitrary, I've been thinking a lot lately that they shouldn't be. Memorial Day wasn't meant to be a long weekend at the beginning of summer. What started out as remembrance for those who have died in service for our country has just become, for a lot of people, an extra day off. And I just want to say that I'm grateful to everyone who gave their life so that I could have the freedom to not care what day of the week it is and to travel with friends. And I just want to do a better job of paying closer attention to what's happening outside of the bubble that I operate in. We have war happening in Ukraine. While I was on vacation in Ireland in March, which was actually vacation, like I closed my computer and didn't use anything, I came across a lot of people who had fled Ukraine, and that was the experience that made it real for me. But it is real every day for the people that are experiencing it. There is also conflict in Sudan, and I wouldn't even have known about it if I didn't have Sudanese clients. But tuning into what's happening around the world, I think, is a pretty big deal. Of course, the U.S. stock market has been a bit volatile, and even though I talked to my clients about staying the course well before this happened, I don't want to be deaf to the people around them that may not have a financial plan, may not really understand their finances or investments in general, and so share their anxiety, which creates anxiety for my clients. We're in a crazy economic time, and layoffs have been especially heavy in tech. And even though the unemployment rate is back down to where it was pre-COVID, it doesn't really feel like that. And people's fear of losing their jobs is real. While they're not being replaced by computers completely, it could be just a matter of a time before this chat GBT really is replacing jobs. And you understand where people are coming from because the world is changing. I know I sound slightly melancholy, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be numb to the things that are happening around me. I believe perspective is a key piece of growth. And now more than ever, we have to sift through the noise and make a choice to stay connected to things that are important and acknowledge that even when things are going well in our personal bubble, life isn't all sunshine and roses for the greater environment that we're a part of. All right. I know this is a financial podcast, right? Well, everything I just talked about definitely has financial implications, even if you can't see them directly. But let's start talking about what I have in store for you coming up for the rest of 2023. So I hope you enjoyed the recent season Chloe and I did together. She and I have taken our show on the road and moved over to Instagram Live on Mondays in a series I'm calling Welcome to Wealth. So if you miss me and Clonesta, she hates when I call her Clonesta, um, check us out on IG Live. We've already recorded quite a few. They're posted, so you can check those out, catch yourself up. But don't neglect the podcast. Now you got 2 areas to get financial information from. There are tons of different ways to learn things, but I believe we learn the most from personal experience and the experiences of others. So we are getting back to storytelling. I've had some interesting people come on and share their money memoirs, and I have some really interesting people lined up for you all. And if you've been listening for a bit and want to share your money memoir, don't be shy. Go ahead and reach out. Podcast at worth-listening.com. No matter what your story is, it matters, and you can help someone listening to this podcast just as I assume you're being helped by what you're hearing. I mean, that is why you're still tuning in, right? Business-wise, there is a lot going on. So I have shifted the focus of Worth Winning, my financial planning company, to servicing groups. Right now, we still have openings for a financial retreat that I'm hosting in July in Colombia for women, and also the one that I'm hosting in August in Bali, yes, Indonesia. They are $3,200 each, include lodging, meals, and excursions. So don't push back and roll your eyes at the price. I hope you didn't stop your run or crash your car when you heard 3,200. When I've talked to some people that have pushed back on pricing, which does not include airfare, I've had to explain that you're also getting an education during this trip. So if you went back, one is like you said, you're going on this trip to get financial education because it's a financial retreat. But one of those things is that you might not have a budget. And if you went back and looked at a trip that you took, kind of YOLOing last year, or just because you like to go on vacations, like nothing wrong with that, and you added up all the receipts, you probably spent similar amount after you were nickel and dimed for excursions and airport transfers and other taxis and Ubers you needed to take and dining out each night. It adds up quite a bit. And in those cases, you didn't return with any additional financial knowledge. You just had a good time. I should also mention that the cost for me to create a financial plan for you, like the clients that come to me and work with me one-on-one, starts at $1,980. So you're going to create your own plan plus get a vacation. So if we think about it, this should actually cost way, way more. It's a pretty value-driven trip, if I do say so myself. And so if you can't swing it, because we are just a couple of months away from those 2 retreats, I do plan to launch the 2024 retreats in July so that people have time to plan ahead to participate. We'll have one for entrepreneurs, one for the fellas, because you guys keep asking me, like, why is this ladies only? I just think that it's important to be in an environment that's going to be appropriate for you to be able to be transparent and to learn the way that you need to learn. We're also going to have a couples one, so get ready if those are one of the categories you fall into. We will have others as we continue to grow. Or you can go ahead and get your crew together and I can create a custom private retreat for you all. So I can do staycation style, come to your hometown or the city that you're in. We can go on vacation somewhere else. Like you name it, we can do it. It's all about getting people together to better organize themselves. So millennials are 26 to 42, and I think that it is time that we start changing the way that we move. Up all night, the getting wasted, the YOLOing days. I think that they're coming to an end. 26, I know you're like, no, not yet. But at some point, we have to start spending time truly growing up with our besties, doing that adulting thing so that we can all make money moves and retire together. People are doing yoga retreats, they're doing mental wellness getaways, and our financial health is just as important as our physical and our mental health. So if you've been listening, picking up little tidbits here and there, but you're not making any real progress, consider it. Get your posse together and come on. Our other focus is bringing financial literacy to the workplace because I am sick of the 60-minute lunch and learn where you don't actually learn anything because you can't in such a short period. I think that if your employer invests in your financial literacy, it might make you feel as if maybe a raise is not so important because you're using what you earn more efficiently. You're able to focus on bringing value to the company when you're financially organized without that kind of paycheck to paycheck stress or your student loan stress or worrying about if you're ever going to be able to retire. So you should march right down to HR and tell them that you need this employee benefit. I mean, for real, it doesn't hurt to ask. And also, if you're in a ERG group, I know those have gotten really, really popular since COVID and much larger. You might bring this up as a topic that might be good to explore there. But, a full day workshop is going to be much more effective than a 1 hour lunch and learn where you're left having a bunch more questions, bringing the topic of financial literacy top of mind for you, but not being able to take any real action. Also, for the record, I just want to say I'm not saying that you don't need a raise. I'm just saying that you also need to make the most of what you already have. And last but not least, Money School, as I like to call it. We have a 12-week program that ran from January to March this year and will launch again as a 6-week program starting in October. You come to class for an hour and a half, 2 times a week. I know it sounds like a lot, but you can find the time. You got all the way to October to figure it out. Virtually, of course. And you build your financial plan. So I wrote this custom curriculum to educate and empower you to better navigate your financial life and start building wealth. And I found this is a great option for people balling on a budget. We're going to have evening meetings, which you guys know I'm a morning person, but I love people and I know that they got to wait till they get off work. So it'll be after work for most of you, depending on time zone and all of that. The sessions will be recorded so you can listen later if you miss, or if you just need to hear it twice, you got that option. And I think that group environments help you learn from others and to hear the real world perspective of like what other people are encountering money wise, in addition to having a professional there to kind of, like I said, give you the information and also moderate. As I said, it's all virtual, so there's no travel cost. This is a really good deal. If you're working through the year, you're like, oh my goodness, I can't figure out like my stuff and I don't have time right now. It's a busy season, or I just want to enjoy the summer and then I'll buckle down in the fall. Like, this might be the thing for you. You can read more about all of our services at worth-winning.com. We also have a financial checkup quiz there, so you can see where you are financially. I really love it. I created it myself. And so just a second ago, I mentioned millennials are 26 to 42 this year. Well, I am turning 40 this year, which is one of the things that probably has me in such a reflective state. They always talk about the midlife crisis happening at 50, but who's living to 100? I'd love to, but I think that we all know that 40 is probably a better marker for the halfway point of our life. And to that point, I've been obsessing slightly about death lately, but I think that it has been helpful in helping me redefine my priorities. And that's what I want for you. Don't wait 10 more years to start talking to your friends about money. Don't wait 5 more years to start trying to understand where your parents are financially. Don't wait 6 more months to speak to your spouse about getting on the same page financially. Time is more valuable than money, but money can help you have more choices about how you spend your time. Contrary to what you may think, we can and must plan for what we can't see, and choosing not to is dangerous. Today is the day to change the trajectory of your finances. Today is the day to ask someone to be Today is the day to ask someone to be your accountability partner. Today is the day to start choosing to conquer fear, or at least not allow what we are afraid of to stop us from participating in life. I always say that money is a tool to help you live the life you want, and while it sounds a bit cliche, it is true. Start using money to eat better, exercise the way you know you need to hire that therapist to help you work through your thoughts. Do these things so that you can spend more time with family, friends, traveling, having awesome experiences, and leaving your mark on the world. Prioritize and organize now, right now. All right, I'm getting off my soapbox, bringing you a money memoir next week. I will talk to you all in a couple of weeks. Lots of love until then. Signing off. Worth-listening.com if you're looking for other episodes.